G'day guys, welcome on in. I found a little weird lake, random lake. It's absolutely stunning down here in the South Island of New Zealand. I've covered myself with extreme bug spray. Is it going to be enough? We'll find out. Let me take you for a spin. This is the lake here, so absolutely gorgeous. Now, for sunrise, this would be a much more special spot because the sun would be over there, so I could face the camera this way, but just the way life's turned out, we're gonna fire down the beach here. So our canvas is out. Water's not too loud, and there's some gorgeous little islands. You see those out there? They're not actually part of the distant shore. They're separate little islands floating in the middle of the lake. Pretty gorgeous. Now, let me put you down here. Let's put you right there, team. That's where you can be. And let's just get this canvas in the right orientation so we can start painting. Now the question is, always the question, is what colour out of the repertoire of colours do we start with? Well, I've got an absolute stack of plates today, if I don't drop them everywhere, and we have the opportunity to go through a few of them. Now, when I was sitting back today, and I'll be honest with you, I sat back and I looked at this piece for about 2 hours, and as I was looking at it, the things that stuck out to me the most were the yellows, the reds, and the whites. And so on our palette today, a little bit of magenta as well, can't hurt. On our palette today is going to be predominantly yellow, red, white, with a little bit of magenta splashed through. Now to keep things frisky, I've also got some gesso primer that I'll add on in to thicken it just that wee bit if we feel it's necessary. Now, and then by the end of today's session, I want to be using this mini brush. Ideally, we get down to it straight away. We'll see how we go. We'll start with the medium. We go into the mini. So, very, very quickly into the session will we notice that the medium's not quite up to the detail that we need to be capturing. So, anyway, put this across here. Hello, M. Great name. And who else do we have here at the moment? I am painting again. Aloha, Steve. Welcome on in, Steve. We're in a little spot in New Zealand that I very much doubt you've been to. This is a very, very special lake. It looks very similar to Lake Tarawera, but it's not. It's deep down in the South Island of New Zealand. So we've got a very peaceful day at the moment. It's going on evening. And I was saying to everyone before, if the sun was rising, it would be over there, which I'd absolutely love because that would mean I could face you out this way. But you're gonna have to wait for tomorrow morning for that. LMM, not my cup of tea, but keep doing you. Thanks, LMM. You know, one of the greatest things you can do, aside from having your own opinions, is letting others have theirs. So I don't know what I'm doing to do me, but I'm glad you're letting me do it. That's appreciated. Now, let's have a little look-see here. We made the right move with all that brown. That's white. Splash that in there. Perfect. Perfectos. Now let's get that. Maybe that medium brush is already too big for what we need to do. Maybe. Hey, can you let me know too, team, is that water too loud or is it okay? You know, Steve, I was looking at this painting today. I was just saying that I've fallen in love with it. I think it's perfect, but there's just a little bit more detail. So some small little bits to be added before we call it a day on the piece that we're making. Water's fine. The water is indeed fine. Lovely, lovely day to be out here painting. And it's going to be pretty fun to capture some of these small little pockets in the art, because up till now we've used that medium-sized brush, and although that's been important, now the work requires that smaller brush to do the smaller jobs. What's the name of this art style? Ooh. So you could call it Impressionism, but I've said this before, Impressionism is when you make the best impression you can make of a subject, and the tools you use kind of modify it into what it actually becomes. Now, Impressionism can be on all sorts of things. It can be on tablets, it can be on jeepers, you could do it with clay. But we're here doing it with paint, and so I'd say this is more of a primal method of it. The regulars are like, get to the point. Primal Impressionism, I'd say. It's wild, it's free, it's chaotic, but it still has that touch, that feel, that vibe of what the old masters would do. So I love listening and learning from the old masters, and then carrying that into a style which is very, very 2025 and very, very wild. No longer does painting need to be constrained to trying to define a subject. Photography does a fantastic job of that. It doesn't need to be confined to blah, 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 blah. Trying to capture simply the big joy of colour. Because honestly, screens, TV, all these things do a great job of that. What we do get a good time doing is enjoying the raw application of paint. How fun it can be to actually apply paint on a surface, and what that can mean for humanity. Sounds cheesy, but guys, we've been doing this for tens of thousands of years and thoroughly enjoying it. There's something more to this than what just gets created. There's the process itself. And sharing that process, it can be pretty fun. He's not Aussie. No, he's not. But I can see why you'd think that. We're Kiwi. We are Kiwi. I'm just gonna bring you over to here. I wonder if I put you there, team. Yeah, there you go. You'll have to excuse my little tripod here. That's the reference image that we're using, which at this point we still want to be using. But at the very end, we drop it and just completely focus on the picture itself. But right now it's still allowing us to be inspired by where certain little moments and bits are to make the picture what it is. So we're practically on raw white right now, with just a little bit of orangey through it to give it a peachy tone. There we go. There we go. That big, big sky. Beautiful. Right on cue. Right on cue. Halal. Beautiful. Very funny. Have I dabbled in any cubism work? Junior, not for a long time. If at all, actually. Picasso did that. He kind of rounded it off. It's time to explore new things. I think if you pursue art movements or art styles, you risk more doing the same thing over again. And that's not art, that's craft. That's art done repetitively. Always try and whatever you're doing, exploring somewhere new if you can. And it can be tough. Javier, welcome. Sometimes asking that question, what's new about this, can be really, really challenging. And maybe it's impossible to answer. Maybe right now, you don't know. Maybe it just feels good. And that's okay. Feeling good? Well, that's as good as any reason. Ooh, cheapest. Those are some wise words. That technique has always given me a very mysterious vibe. Style of art. Love that. Love that. And first time I have dropped into your live. That painting looks so beautiful. Dean, oh, Dean, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now I'm wondering, can I think they've removed the feature, but do you know when you could actually put an image up of what's behind me? I'll show you really quickly. Let me just flip you around so you can see it. Ready? So there's a wharf there, but people are leaping off it, so I didn't want to actually affect it as of right now. And then that's where the sun's setting. In the next 3 hours or so, it'll dip behind that mountain and it'll be gone. But for now, we have all the light we need, a big old picture to work on, and we'll keep doing that. All right. Now let me just have a little look-see here. I'm gonna do some of the fun that I had yesterday. Yeah, there we go. Now, what we were working with, still those warm colours. It baffles me that no matter how much these warm, vibrant colours I add, the painting just keeps crying out for more of them. So, we keep adding more. Let's get a wee bit wild here, team. Woohoo! Not abandoning you just yet. Let me spin you around to here. There we go. There we go. There's that light hitting it where it needs to hit it. And actually, I think it's more fun if you're right there, team, because I will take a little bit of a wander. Now, some say this would be for the art, but it's also because the sandflies are biting my feet. So, two birds with one stone, which I'm a big fan of. Apologies to anyone who's part of the avian community and took offence to two birds, one stone. That was not my intention. I'm a massive fan of birds, and I did not intend to offend. God, I'm loving this picture. It's not there yet. We're on that smaller brush, but it's coming in close to where I want it. So you keep on playing with it. These to be like fireworks going off. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Sorry guys, I got very caught up in what was happening. A pun isn't fully matured until it's grown. This is true. And Jesse, it has been forever. Welcome on in. Good to have you back here. Victor, welcome. Ryan, welcome. Do you ever consider a piece done, or is it just done for now? I love that. Interesting question. It is done. It is done. But each artist decides when that is. Of course, it's kind of like the ontological argument for philosophers, where there's always a point in every philosopher's life where they believe the ontological argument is true. Now, for a painting, I think it's finished when you love what you've got more than you wish to see what it can become. At that point and that point alone, you've made it to the finish line. But a lot of the time artists hum and ha of whether they're finished. And the reason you hum and ha is because you don't know if you love it or not. You can't love something if you haven't come to terms with yourself. Come to terms with yourself, you'll learn how to love artwork. And then you'll know when your artwork's finished and when it's not. That's the only way. Sounds cheesy, but that's what I think. There we go. Now the goal is with these palm trees, they're always going to obviously be palm trees, but they want to look like fireworks going off into the sky. They want to have this sort of aura of celebration to them. That's the goal here. Not just palm trees, but fireworks blasting into the skies in broad daylight in Palm Springs. That's the goal. If we can get that, or at least the top third of the image, that'll be a success. And then in terms of the water below, that's going to reflect those fireworks going off. Not perfectly, more like a distant memory of them. There we go. Even though for us our experience of light is immediate, we can use the water as more of a metaphor to actually reflect the past. In this case, for Jacob, there is this underlying element of self-portrait to this work, where Jacob's captured in this moment, where the energy of this place, the celebration of the current moment and who you are, it's a reflection of who Jacob at this moment is. That's the goal. That is the goal. I'm gonna be with you guys in one moment. Let those waves lick my toes for a few more little strokes. There we go. A bit more of that magenta coming into these ones. Gorgeous. More and then through there. Alright, coming back. Woo! Whose comments did I miss? I'm so sorry, guys. Awesome accent. Cheers, Dean. Seb, did you used to work at Cobb? I did. I was the ops manager of Cobb for about 7 years. Time goes back a long way. And ambition. Impressionism. Impressionism is a safe bet. I would say primal impressionism. But we use a lot more wild colour than Impressionism would allow. I don't know. I feel like art movements put you in boxes, guys. Don't do that. There's a temptation to align with a movement, but the movement's been, guys. This is paint. This is raw colour. This is wild. This is free, and this, well, it could be defined as some kind of style or movement. It's at the same time completely not. It's just this self-expression derived entirely from the pleasure of throwing paint at a surface. And that's a healthy thing. The ability to express yourself through colour, the ability for us to connect through something as absurd, and this is absurd, something as absurd as colour being thrown at a 2D surface. There we go. That's what I want. One of the requirements of this work was just abundant wild colour. Absolutely popping colour. And we have that. We absolutely have that. But we're not done yet. We need more. And the little pockets and the little moments. Another colour. Let's not stop here. Rome, a little bit tropical. Hey Chris, how we doing? Let's have a little look-see here. Here's the next colour we need. Wave's almost big enough to surf, team. We have a little bit of wind around at the moment, but not much. But it will shake things up. You're a gower too. Welcome in. And thanks, guys. It's, you know, this is a spot. You're here with me, but I've never ever been to this particular place before. This is an absolute first for me. Which makes this kind of fun. I'm experiencing this place for the first time, as are you. There we go. That's exactly what I'm after. These massive explosions above Palm Springs. Beautiful. We're not there yet, but every brushstroke is bringing us one little step closer. Let me stand back with you for a moment, team. I want to see what we look like here. Yeah, okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. More white. It's funny, you always think you've added enough white, and you always end up coming back for more. legit in and amongst these waves. This pool. It is technically, in the reference image, just a pool. But in our reproduction of it, it's much, much more than that. This pool stands for the past. And literally reflecting on it. All right, team. I need more orange. More orange. Let me just check in here with you all. Cheers, Steve. Letting everyone know what's happening. I get so caught up in this painting that I lost track a little bit. And cheers, Chris. I appreciate that. It needs more orange. Amy Winehouse. No, the water is not cold. It's very, very warm. I'm going to go for a swim later. And thanks, Nathan. All right, guys. Orange. Just a little bit. This is not an epic excursion of orange. This is just a very light peppering. At the moment, up in those palm trees, there's this beautiful ultramarine blue, this gorgeous scarlet. And I just need a little bit of orange just to finish off. And then we might have this painting right beside its stand down period. The stand down period is when we leave it for 72, sometimes longer, sometimes less hours. And we basically see if our opinions change in that period. G'day mate, how you doing? Good, how are you? That's good, I'm very good. Just doing some painting down here at the beach.
Totally different.
Yeah?
Right?
Yeah, it's a picture of Palm Springs.
Okay.
A long way from here.
Long way from here, yeah.
Indeed. Palm trees, deserts.
Palm Springs is between Los Angeles and San Diego?
Yes, long way away. But they've got water there too.
Pardon?
They've got water there too.
Yeah,
And it's
all 23.
what's that?
I've been there in fall
Oh,
23, so 1.5 years ago approximately.
yeah, I see.
Also on a bike.
Are you going to go back?
You?
Are you?
I'd like to, but can't have it all, huh? Now I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm German, so I'm from another continent.
well, me too. I'd like to go there, especially after painting it.
So you're not American?
No, I'm not American,
Okay.
but I've seen America a few times. I'd like to get,
Me too.
yeah,
So you've got a photo on that iPad or on that?
just a very light photo there at the moment, but at this stage, we're basically painting from our heart. We've left the photo behind.
Yeah.
Now's the time to just put the last little finishing touches on it and see where it lands. Who knows, we might be on it for hours more. Hours, days.
Jeez.
But we'll see.
Oh, but why not? It's a good place to do it, huh?
I think so, I think so. Where in Germany are you from?
Are you familiar with Germany?
A little bit.
Münster?
No.
Düsseldorf?
Now you're ringing a bell.
Cologne?
Cologne.
Yeah,
I wear cologne.
about 100 kilometers north of it.
Yeah, okay. I see, I see.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah. May I take a photo of you?
Of course you can, of course you can.
Quite an interesting setup, I think.
Yeah.
What's the iPhone for?
What's that?
What's that for?
The iPhone films it.
Okay.
Without it, no one would know what would happen. But me and you.
Yeah, but me and you, why? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Catch ya. What a lovely gentleman. It's funny, he was actually here. Ooh, just got water all up my bum. I bent down too low. Salton Sea. There's a saltwater lake near Palm Springs. Indeed. Favorite colors are blue and orange. Compliments. Yes, I agree. I've got a wet bum now, but it's all right. It's all right. I'll manage. Now, you might notice that this stuff through here looks nothing like the reference photo we're using. This is actually inspired by all the architecture in Palm Springs, not just the stuff in the photo. We've kept a few of the perspective lines to make sure the image stays together, but actually, this whole part represents Palm Springs overall, not just one small part of it. Jacob was kind enough to share a bunch of his favourite pieces of architecture in Palm Springs with me. I was able to use those to construct what this piece through here has largely become, which I'm in love with. Whew. Let me stand back with you guys. Have a little look-see here. A little bit more up here before we enter our stand down period. Perfect, perfect. One last little mix here. One last little dab. One last little flick. There. And that, team, is where we pause. Now, I'm going to bring you up close to it so you guys can see what we're working with right up close, because when you get it from this distance perspective here, you just see the palm trees, the mountain, the building and the water. But as we come up closer, I want you to see more. So from this point here, you're going to start seeing that point in which the actual picture itself starts going from, you know, facts, the landscape that you saw, into wilderness, into wild paint. And if I bring you right up close, let me actually spin you around here, team. This will make it much easier. You ready? Whoop. Flip camera. You can see my little setup here. Here's my trolley. I wheel this down with me. That big thing in the front's my battery. Powers everything. There's our picture, but it's too dark. We're doing this from not only our memory, but also with feeling. Now, you can see this hotel. This doesn't look like a hotel here. It's reminiscent of all the architecture in Palm Springs. And then you're gonna see the water through here. You see how every color in the water, you got greens, oranges, reds, everything in the water is reflected in the sky. So this is literally a reflection of everything in the image. That's why it's there. And the water's taking up about half the image, okay? Now let me bring you in here. You ready? Coming on in. At this point here, these palm trees, I want you to imagine fireworks going up. Don't see palm trees, see warmth in them, see explosions, see energy. And then if I bring you right in here, watch this, watch this. At this point, we've lost everything, just about. Chaotic paint. You'll see some lines of palm trees coming up. You'll see the mountain. And then bang. At this stage here, we're just seeing raw blops of color. This is where we turn from that realism element or that factual element completely into wild paint. When you get close to these images, it's a failure if you can make out anything. The goal is, at this point you're at right now, for you to just see wild color. And if you just see wild color, wherever I take you, chaotic brushstrokes, mess, then when I pull back, bang, everything will make sense. All right? That's where the beauty in these pieces lie. That when you're close, nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. But when you grow that distance, just like life, when you take a step back and see it from a distance, suddenly, everything makes sense. That's life, guys. Try to take a step back whenever you can and see it like that. Anyway, squad, this has been an absolute pleasure. Those little touch points we've added on there. I'm going to pack up now. I've got a little bit of sunlight left, about an hour 15, so I'm going to come on down here and leap in the water. If you're part of the wild crew, I'm going to have to post a video of it because the tripod's already down here. For everyone else, I will see you all tomorrow morning. The sun's rising over in that direction, so we're going to have the most glorious sunrise here, and we're going to paint literally the water and the hills in that direction. I've got a very small canvas for it, and we're going to be working with something completely different. I won't spoil it right now, but we'll talk then. Janice, I didn't know you were in here. Welcome on in. And Jay, thank you very much. Steve, thanks for being here moderating, you absolute legend. And tagging those comments, I definitely would have missed them if it hadn't been for you. And apart from that, I'm going to go for a swim, make sure this dries nicely, and if we choose to add no more paint to it, the next step for this piece is we'll do a gentle coat of varnish, chopping and changing between matte, satin and gloss to make sure we highlight different areas the way we want to. At the moment, because it's made with gouache and acrylics, it's basically entirely matte with a few little pockets of satin, but we'll see. Right team, I'm out of here. Love you all, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye guys.